Hello students, welcome to Social Science online classes. In this session, we shall discuss Bhakti Panth. What do you mean by this Bhakti? What is the meaning of Bhakti? Bhakti literally means attachment. What it is? It is literally means attachment or state of mind where the devotees surrender himself or herself unquestioningly to God. It was originally used in Hinduism, referring to devotion and love for a personal God or a representational God by a devotee. I'll repeat it once again. Bhakti is a Sanskrit word. Bhakti is a Sanskrit word, means devotion. Okay. Bhakti literally means it's an attachment, state of mind where the devotees means bhaktaru, where devotees surrender himself or herself unquestioningly to God. It was originally used in Hinduism, referring to devotion and love for a personal God by a devotee. The emergence of Bhakti movement is an important feature in medieval India. Okay, the concept of mukti, which means salvation, was found an important place in the tradition of Indian religious and spiritual thoughts. In the tradition of Indian spiritual thoughts, various paths of moksha have been advocated. As a result, what happened? Jnana Marga, Bhakti Marga, Karma Marga, Yajna Marga have been considered as important paths. Various philosophers and social reformers advocate liberal bhakti, liberal bhakti panth. Okay, bhakti means pure faith in God. I have already explained it, and surrendering oneself to God with pure faith in God. Okay, see, here what happened, they tried to inculcate the sense of brotherhood among the people and also advocated equality of all religions. Okay, now let's see some of the main features of a bhakti movement. Okay, the important features of a bhakti movement were unity of God or one God, though known by different names. Bhakti, intense love and devotion, the only way for the salvation. Repetition of the true name, self-surrender, surrendering oneself and repetition of the true name of a God. There is condemnation of rituals, that is putting end to the rigid rituals which were in practice in Hinduism. Ceremonies and blind faith, rejection of idol worship by many saints. See, many saints of Bhakti Panth rejected the idol worship which was practiced in Hinduism. Okay. See, here Sufism also grew as a parallel development to Bhakti Panth in Islam. Mutual influences can be found in both the movements. See, people who had names like Rama, Krishna and Allah, they advocated Bhakti Marg as a path of attaining mukti. Absolute belief in God and total surrenderance to the God were the basic tenets of the Bhakti Panth. The Bhakti Panth reached people of all the sections of the society due to its due to its pro-people attitude. The saints who emerged during this period expressed their bhakti in their native language and reached people successfully. Among them, Ramananda, Namadeva, Kabir, Guru Nanak, Mirabai, Chaitanya, Ravidas, Surdas are important in India. Purandaradasa, Kanakadasa and Shishunala Sharifa are important Bhakti saints in Karnataka. Now let's know about Ramanand. Ramanand was born in a Brahmin family in Allahabad. He was a follower of Ramanuja's philosophy. Ramananda was a follower of Ramanujan's philosophy. He established Vaishnava religious school based on love and devotion. He traveled to several places in North India and popularized the worship of Rama and Sita. Varanasi was his center of activities. Varanasi was the center for all his activities. He opposed caste system and allowed people from every caste to join his sect. Kabir was one such follower. Kabir was a follower of Ramananda. Kabir preached in Hindi. Ramanand gave this unique message to the people. What message did he give? Do not question caste or creed. Think of the Lord and become one with Him. God will never question one's caste. Whoever believes in the God would be blessed by the God. Okay, now let's know about Kabir. Kabir was another saint who lived in North India during this time. He was born in a family engaged in weaving work called as Julas. In North India, the weavers were called as Julas in Varanasi. He was a student of Ramanand and spent most of his time at Varanasi. He began to preach his new philosophy. He opposed caste system and multiple idol worship. Means he opposed caste system and the worship of more than one idol. He declared that God is one. And he is the same for both Hindus and Muslims. He tried to bring about harmony and tolerance between the two communities, that is between Hindus and Muslims. He preached in Hindi, the common man's language, like his guru. So because of this common language, Kabir also reached more people. Kabir composed couplets known as dohas. Hindus and Muslims recite these dohas even today in North India. The followers of Kabir are known as Kabir Panthis, meaning who go on the path of Kabir, means who go on the way of Kabir. Kabir preached the greatness of harmonious that goes beyond caste and religion boundaries. Kabir was the main religious and social reformer of India. Coming to the other famous saint of this time was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a 15th century Indian saint and founder of Achintya Bheda Abheda. What was his philosophy? His philosophy was Achintya Bheda Abheda. Achintya Bheda. Devotees consider him an incarnation of a god Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mode of worshipping Krishna was with song and dance and immense effect on Vaishnavism in Bengal. He was born in a Brahmin family. He was born in a Brahmin family in Noida of Bengal. He took Diksha at the age of 25 and became disciple of Pant. He lived in Mathura and Brindavan for many years. He preached that differences of caste can be removed by discipline and man becomes pure through divine. He composed many devotional songs in praise of Krishna. He opposed caste system and attempted to bring about a sense of brotherhood among the people. His philosophical thoughts and teachings are collected in a book called Chaitanya Charitamrita. He is collected in a book called Chaitanya Charitamrita. He preached that Supreme God is simultaneously one with and different from his creation. He thought that the holy name of God is the sound incarnation of God. Guru Nanak. Another advocate of a Bhakti movement was Guru Nanak, who had religious leanings or attractions right from his brotherhood. He was born in Talawandi, which is in Pakistan now. After traveling around for many years, he established a religious center in Kartarpur on river Ravi banks. Okay, he made his followers to sit and eat together irrespective of caste and creed. He did not discriminate between the caste and the creed. He started Langar, a community kitchen where food is prepared and catered to all. Means he started a Langar where food was prepared and it was distributed to all, and he made all the people to sit together and have food. This became the sacred place for the followers. It was later called as Gurudwara. What it was later called as? It was later called as Gurudwara. He preached that God is one and opposed idol worship. Even Guru Nanak also opposed idol worship. He gave importance to good deeds and moral life. He had followers from Hindus were called as Sikhs. His preachings are collected in Guru Granth Sahiba. Okay, it is called as Adi Grantha by Sikhs. It is kept in Gurudwars and worshipped by them. Next is Mirabai. The other name for the Bhakti movement, Mirabai, who was the princess of Mewad. She renounced a life of luxury and became the most devoted follower of Lord Krishna. Means she rejected the life of luxuries. Though she was a princess, she rejected the life of luxury and became the most devoted follower of Lord Krishna. Though she was married to Rajput prince, she left all the worldly things and became the disciple of Ravidas, a saint who was born in an untouchable caste. She composed songs of devotion towards Krishna. These songs are called as bhajans. She criticized the claim of superior status or high caste people in her bhajans. Here she criticized the status between the people, high caste status and low caste status. These bhajans are very popular even today in Rajasthan and Gujarat. Like this, many reformers tried to bridge a gap between religious and caste in different parts of India. Vithoba temple at Pandharpur on the bank of river Bhima in Maharashtra was the center of Bhakti movement. Jnaneshwara and Namdev, Eknath, Tukaram and Ramdas were the famous saints of the new sect. Purandaradas and Kanakdas were foremost or important among the Bhakti movement in Karnataka. Their path is known as Dasa Parampare. Sufi saints. The Sufi saints arrived from Persia and settled in different parts of India. They are called as peer or teacher. Since they wore rough woolen clothing called saf, these Muslim saints were called Sufis. They preached that it was possible to reach the God or Allah through love and devotion. Okay. They believed that dance and music filled with devotion take us closer to the God. They composed many songs in Urdu and Hindi. The poetic works of Mrigavati of Kutuban and Padmavat of Malik Muhammad Jaisi uphold Sufi philosophy. The Sufi craze has presence all over India. There are around 12 different groups among Sufis. 4 among them were very important. Bidar, Kalburgi, Vijaypura and other places of North Karnataka are the important places of Sufism. Both the Hindus and Muslims take part in the religious ceremonies called Urs that take place in these centers. Okay. Now coming to the next, that is Shishunala Sharifa. Imam and Hujuma were his parents. He was born in Shishunala of present Shiggavi Taluk of Gadag district in 1819 CE. Imam named his son Muhammad Sharif as per the suggestions of a Qazi. Sharif was a Farsi word. What it was? It was a Farsi word. It means a man who has ideal goals or a man of worth and respected by all. Sharif grew up a worthy man just like his name. Sharif was influenced by Islam philosophies from a young age. Sharif, who was always interested to move around with the people, participated in all the fairs, dramas, shows and various other religious festivals. He became the messenger of Riyawat literature, which is a part of Moharram celebration. Okay, dear students, we shall wind up the session here. In the next session, we shall come up with the other saints. Thank you and have a good day.